Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural K Sports Talk Live right here on Channel 4, Diaspo TV. Ladies and gentlemen, I am KEVEN PHANORD, and welcome. We're talking basketball, football, baseball, whatever the case is. If it's hot and if it's in Miami, we're going to talk about it right here. First up, we're talking about the Miami Heat. In round two of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Indiana Pacers, Miami, for the first time in quite a long time, found themselves down 2-1 in this best-of-7 series. Indiana had used a lot of power, roughing around the two superstars who were left after all-star power forward Chris Bosh was injured with an abdominal strain in game number one. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James had a huge impact after Game 3's loss. Dwayne Wade, if you remember, had a blow-up with head coach Eric Spoelstra on the sidelines in that Game 3 loss. After that, however, it was all hands on deck. Oh yes, Dwayne Wade and LeBron James averaged 33 points a game as Miami was able to come away with a 4-2 series victory. Yes, LeBron James had a monster Game 4, starting out with 41 points to go along with 18 rebounds and 9 assists, a near triple-double. No one's done that in 51 years, not since Elgin Baylor did it for the Los Angeles Lakers. And then you had Dwayne Wade, who had just 5 points in Game 3, a career low. In Game 4, 5, and 6, he showed you just why they call the man Flash. In the closing game of the series against the Indiana Pacers in Indiana, Dwayne Wade had 41 points, which is in game number 6, the closeout game against the Indiana Pacers in Indiana, Dwayne Wade, the 8-time All-Star, had 41 points to go along with 10 rebounds, a feat not matched by a guard since Michael Jordan did it back in 1998. And Miami, well, it was a 103-95 win, and it was a wrap. Now, next up is the Indiana Pacers. No. Is it the Chicago Bulls? No. What do we have? We have either the Philadelphia 76ers or the Boston Celtics. Yes, those guys. The guys in green. The loudmouthing Kevin Garnett. Ray Allen, the sharpshooter, the all-time three-point leading champion. Then you have Rajon Rondo, a budding star in his own right. And Paul Pierce. When I was growing up, all we did was call that man the truth. Yeah, you had AI, you had MJ, you had the Doc, but Paul Pierce was the truth, and he played like a man possessed. However, against the Philadelphia 76ers in Saturday's Game 7 at Boston, you're going to need a lot more from the Big Four. That's right, Ray Allen has been hobbled with an ankle injury. Paul Pierce, he has a bum knee. Kevin Garnett is playing like a man possessed, but Rajon Rondo is up and down. What you're going to need to see from them is better transition offense and continued pressure on the defensive side. Philadelphia 76ers are young, they're healthy, and they have a tandem that includes Andre Iguodala as well as Evan Turner, but their leading scorer is coming off of the bench in Lou Williams. He could have been an all-star. He finished second in the Sixth Man of the Year voting, and he's been averaging a whopping 18 points off the bench for the Philadelphia 76ers. They won the last game with a strong offensive performance by not just Lou Williams, but also Drew Holiday, who came up big, leading the team with 20 points in the contest. What you're going to need to see now for Philadelphia to win on the road is more defense, more big-time performance by Drew Holiday, and possibly Evan Turner. Then you're going to need to see Andre Iguodala shut down Paul Pierce, the truth. Can they do it? Time will tell. History says that the Game 7 usually goes to the home team. So with that, Boston is looking pretty good. Now let's turn the page a little bit. Say Boston does win. You win on Saturday, you're off on Sunday, you fly to Miami. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals is between Miami and Boston on Monday. Now, Kevin Garnett is 35 years old. Ray Allen is 36. Paul Pierce is 34 and injured. So you can look for Miami, who has 3 days rest with Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, to try and capitalize with more of the running game that helped them defeat the Indiana Pacers in 6 games. Now we're turning the page to the Western Conference. Everybody who's anybody, even if you don't like basketball, is watching this game. The San Antonio Spurs versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. You have the veterans, proven teams in the San Antonio Spurs. Now, but when you turn the page, you have the young up-and-comers in Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, both All-Stars, and also gold medal winners in the European League. Not to mention James Harden, who has been playing out of his mind and is the current sixth man of the year. Can OKC's youth capitalize, continue to run great offense? Or will San Antonio, who has a resurgent team, followed by 9-time All-Star Tim Duncan, former MVP, as well as Tony Parker, who had an unbelievable year, finishing fourth in the MVP ballots. Not to mention Manu Ginobili, who's coming off the bench, and a very strong cast that includes Gary Neal, Tiago Splitter, as well as Stephen Davis and Boris Diaw. That is a lot of names to throw out, but Oklahoma City Thunder are a very strong team, and they just are relentless. They keep coming. They run offense with strong perimeter play that includes James Harden, Kevin Durant, who led the league in scoring at 27.9 points a game. And then you also have Russell Westbrook. Not a traditional point guard, but a great guard nonetheless. He finished on the second-team All-NBA team right alongside Kobe Bryant. So then you can expect a great effort coming out of the Oklahoma City young trio. Now you have the San Antonio Spurs. Big-time game, big-time experience, and they're going to need it if they're going to advance. But let's keep this thing in mind. Going into Game 1, the San Antonio Spurs have won 18 straight games. When was the last time you could say a team going into the playoffs had 18 straight wins? Well, now you can. It's 2012, and the San Antonio Spurs aren't your grandfather's San Antonio Spurs. This is not the day when Tim Duncan was running second hand to David Robinson or Sean Elliott or Chuck Persons. They led the league in scoring despite having an average age on the roster of 32 years. So you can expect them to have more of the same. They really capitalize on ball movement and transition offense, capitalized especially by Tony Parker, one of the best point guards in the NBA. Now we turn the page to a sport that I really like to talk about. We're talking about Major League Baseball. And if you are in Miami, chances are you are a Miami Marlins fan. I got a chance to sit down at the beautiful new ballpark just over yonder. And trust me when I tell you, it is a beautiful ballpark. There's fish going along the stadium. You got a huge scoreboard. But more importantly, you have Giancarlo Stanton. Let me fill you in on the gaps just in case you didn't know. Giancarlo Stanton is a 22-year-old phenom who hit his 10th home run last night at Miami Marlins Arena. Let me fill you in on Giancarlo Stanton. He's a 22-year-old phenom who scored his 10th home run on the season despite not having hit one at all in the month of April. He led the Marlins in home runs last year with 34 on the regular season and is expected to, or projected to, hit more than 40 this year. And outside of that, you have Omar Infante, who has become the steady hit machine for the Miami Marlins in the second baseman spot. Hanley Ramirez brought his friend over from the New York Mets in Jose Reyes, one of the best leadoff men in all of baseball. And when he gets on base, ladies and gentlemen, don't blink, because chances are he's going to steal the base. And then you have Emilio Bonifacio, one of the best base stealers in Major League Baseball. Then we have Emilio Bonifacio, one of the best stealsmen in all of Major League Baseball. Up until recently, he had 20 consecutive steals without a pick-off play at second base, or third base for that matter. Bonifacio, Hanley Ramirez, Jose Reyes, Giancarlo Stanton, and then you have to talk about the pitching staff, led by Josh Johnson. Remember, Josh Johnson was injured last year and had surgery on his right shoulder. He came back this year, struggled at the beginning, but has been pitching great of late. Then you have Big Z, Carlos Zambrano, who came over from the Chicago Cubs team and was pretty much kicked out. Chicago's actually paying him to play for the Miami Marlins. What he's done? All he's done is become one of the top 5 guys in ERA at 1.96 on the year. Then you have Anibal Sanchez and Ricky Nolasco. Nolasco being the franchise's all-time leader in wins for the Miami Marlins. Put that all together and you have one of the best teams in baseball. And if you're wondering, like I know you are, baseball fans, there is an extra wild card. So chances are, even if Miami doesn't win the first wild card or even the division, which a strong division includes, even if Miami doesn't win the division that includes Philadelphia, the Atlanta Braves, and the Washington Nationals, Miami has a great chance to make it to the playoffs this season. And what does Miami do when they get into the playoffs? They win World Series. They win rings. In 1997, with Gary Sheffield and Bobby Bonilla, led by Jim Leyland, Miami won it all, the Florida Marlins then. In 2003, led by Jack McKean, Mike Lowell, Miguel Cabrera, and company, Miami was also able to win the World Series. They made it twice. They won it all twice. Can we make this number 3? Who knows? They definitely have the pieces, and I think they can be successful as long as they remember a few good things. Get on base, steal base, score runs. You put those 3 things together, and Miami is capable of doing that, and you're going to see a team that finishes with a possibly 85 to 90 victories on the year, which should be good enough to make it to the postseason. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me here on Channel 4, Diaspo TV. This is the start of something very great. I can't wait to come to you once again to talk about sports. We're talking about baseball, basketball, football, whatever the case may be. You can find me right here on K-Star Sports Talk Live. Be sure to check us out tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're at Don Jimmy Snack Bar, 5521 Northwest 2nd Avenue. You can watch the Miami Heat. You can watch the Philadelphia 76ers, the Boston Celtics, whatever you feel like watching the Miami Marlins. Hey, not a problem. You can also check that out at the Who Restaurant, 6708 Biscayne Boulevard. 6708 Biscayne Boulevard, the Who Restaurant. Come get your food on, get your snacks, get your drinks, whatever the case may be. You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy a great game, great company, great food. What else can you possibly need? Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, stay tuned to K-Star Sports Talk Live.